I was the first guy to invent open for inspection software. I was 21, sold it for $1 million. I was flipping, still riding around $3 million a year. Charlotte pretty much just said, Marty, stop being a little bitch and just do it.
15 offices, average sale price, $1.8 million. Judge on the block for 3 years, 15 plus property flips without a single loss.
This is Marty Fox's blueprint for building something that doesn't exist. You all have this extremely calm persona about you. Man, I would love to break down what your thoughts are around that of reaching such a pinnacle within the industry that you're in. What is it that just like this calm, powerful persona?
The moment you look at people as competitors, you've already established that there's an element of fear. I've never feared anyone. You have to operate like a lawyer. How a lawyer preps a jury, as an agent, you need to do the same. You've got a vendor and you've got a buyer, and both are effectively lying to you.
Do you reckon there's anything in particular that had that drive for you when you hit your 20s?
It's a fucking funny story. One of my biggest bullies at the time, calling me a little gay boy and stuff, and fast forward 10, 15 years, I met my wife at this pub and she tells me who her ex-boyfriend was, and it was this guy.
No way.
Just the best karma ever.
How's that?
Oh, mate.
What do you think is the number one character trait of the top 1%?
Self-belief. If you don't believe in yourself, then how is anyone else going to? I'm not doing this for the money. The money comes. The purpose is be the world's first globally, privately owned boutique real estate company, non-franchised. It does not exist.
How do you go so deep without fully losing yourself?
No, so put it this way.
Marty Fox, mate, welcome to the Top 1% podcast.
Thank you. Finally we meet.
I know, finally, mate. This has been a long time coming for the both of us. We both talked about obviously coming on each other's pods, and we finally lined it up, mate. The Melburnian up on the GC, man. So, mate, really looking forward to diving into it today.
Let's do it.
Man, I've got something that just popped into my mind just before we started the podcast. Came in, finally met you, man. We've obviously chatted for years, like just backwards and forwards on Insta and whatnot. I've watched your story for a long time as well. Man, something I would love to dissect for 1 second is whenever I meet really high-performing real estate agents, and I'm talking the biggest in the country, alongside yourself, Gav Rubenstein, Josh Morrissey, who we're talking about off air, Michael Koloshi, these guys who are like yourself, who have built incredible brands, massive brands. You all have this extremely calm persona about you, powerful, calm, without like any sort of egotistical play, which I always thought, looking in from many, many years, I thought you guys would carry, and this is obviously no disrespect at all. It's just like you think someone at this level would have that sort of ego attached to it. When I just find it's just pure calm energy. Man, I would love to break down what your thoughts are around that of reaching such a pinnacle within the industry that you're in, which is a flashy and from a lot of levels, it can be quite an egotistical industry as well. How have you boys, like what is it that just, it's like this calm, powerful persona?
Look, you got to think to yourself, do you think like that just because of the real estate agent, or do you think about that with regards to anybody else that you see through your phone or on TV? Because you'd probably say that about particular actors or particular sports people. It's just the fact that you've asked that because I'm in real estate. And a lot of that comes back to what people think about those people based on the fact that they're seeing someone through a screen. And normally there's two sides. And the reality is you get to see behind the curtain when you sit with people in these environments. And before that, you just don't. So your own brain takes you on a path, which is your own insecurities or your own things that maybe get projected. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
So
for sure.
It's actually an internal thing that's made you think that, not the fact of what we're pushing out is doing anything other than just putting out what we're doing for work. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. Makes complete sense, man.
Yeah, you sit with particular sporting people and actors and you go, oh, they're so normal. Yeah, because you're watching them work.
Yeah.
So it's just that you don't get to see many regular everyday people in their workplace. You just see them when you see them at the supermarket, at the bank, wherever, and that's the only version that you get. You're seeing versions of people in a heightened environment, and you make assumptions.
It's interesting, man. And in reality, like the more you were talking about it then as well, like so much of what you guys have probably achieved is actually being relatable to people when you meet them and them going, oh, this guy's actually a good dude. You know what I mean? And like each people that you, or each level that you level up and the different people that you meet through that leveling up as well.
But what I've had to do throughout my process and why I've probably had a lot of cut through is that so much of, I don't have two versions. So much of my social includes my wife, my kids, my team, my parents, my highs, my lows. It's an open book. I've got nothing to hide. And unlike the other boys, I'm not an agent. Gavin, Michael, Josh, they're real estate agents.
Yeah.
I haven't been a real estate agent for now nearly 4 years. So it's a very different social media that I put out. And I struggled with that in year one because I thought, what am I actually going to post about? So I had this identity crisis when I thought, well, hold on, if I'm not an agent and I'm not out there and giving lessons to these agents that are following me all over the world, what am I going to talk about?
Yeah.
And that's when I really shifted into, well, let's just show them everything.
Yeah.
Because I struggled. I didn't know what am I actually going to put out if I'm not on the grind every day.
For sure. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, hey? And man, it's funny, like reflecting on that myself as well, because as a buyer's agent, like I haven't probably actively sourced anywhere near the level I used to, say 3 years ago compared to what I do now. Because it's all about running the empire, right? And running the team and making sure everything's humming properly and everything too.
Yeah, you've got your C-suite reporting into you, you've got your JV partners reporting into you, and there's layers of command. And the issues that I'm trying to resolve are very big issues if they arise.
Yep.
Whereas the JV partner's responsibilities is to resolve the issues that I once did 3 years ago so that they can level up. Because ultimately what they all want to do is figure out how do they get off the tools in time. So I know how to do it. I'm the best teacher of how to do it. Not a book, not some other mentor. Just listen to me and I will show you the path.
Yep.
There is a way, but it takes time.
And then as long as they action those steps, because you've walked that path before, as long as they action those steps, they'll get the result.
I heard you say it recently, like, don't take advice from someone that hasn't done it. It's pretty basic.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Man, I appreciate the insights. And it's an interesting thing reflecting even on yourself with that transition that you've gone through as well. And yeah, how you had to do that in that first year, almost like that identity crisis you would have gone through of knowing, almost it being so straightforward what you would have been posting about and blasting on the social media front being that sales component to then the transition into what you effectively do now as well, right? That's cool. I love it.
The big thing is you need to have buy-in.
Yeah.
So I didn't have buy-in from the team for me to come off the tools.
Yeah.
And that's why the business suffered and, you know, a lot of people left White Fox. But I had buy-in from home. So I had Charlotte who said, look, if you go cold turkey and if you go from being, you know, I was flipping, having 3 kids, still riding around 3 million a year, that was my space. And when you own the business, you keep those funds. So for me to not list and sell meant that I had to walk away from that GCI. I had to walk away from that money.
Yeah.
And Charlotte pretty much just said, Marty, stop being a little bitch and just do it.
Yeah.
Because you just won't be able to grow if you don't give this a try now. And it came off the back of me being pretty sick with, you know, pretty bad pericarditis. So because I had the buy-in from Charlotte and she said, look, we started in a 1-bedroom apartment. We can go back to that. It doesn't matter. So when you've got someone at home that is that rock that doesn't care about the watch or the car or the, you know, enjoys them, but says in order to grow, I'm willing to stick by you and back you. And if it fails, fuck it, I'm still here. That gives you this strength to go, let's do it. Because she also said, we'll probably get back here just in half the amount of time. If you've got that at home, then you really can achieve anything because you don't have this added pressure. You don't have this nagging. You don't have this just this constant battle of trying to provide because their expectations are up here. That's how it was possible.
So you had the backing behind you just to feel comfortable with it.
I didn't have the pressure. I had enough pressure at work. I didn't need it at home.
Yep.
So because that was eliminated, I had the capacity to fucking punch.
Yeah.
And when things got wobbly, again, I'd come home and I'd get that strength again and then bang, back out.
Yeah. I love it. Why did you make the transition from, if you were doing 3 million a year GCI, you know, obviously killing it as an agent, you knew you were going to rock the boats by doing this and making this transition into it from that end. Why did you make the decision to do it?
Time. You can't. If these boys are all on the tools, again, they're in Sydney, they're in Gold Coast, they're in Canberra. They're not in New Zealand. They're not full national. They're not going to Dubai. They've got clients.
Yeah.
My clients are my team.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need time. I need scale.
Yeah. So the idea was to buy back your time, like obviously reverse engineering, being able to come back, build other teams to be able to deliver effectively what you were doing on scale.
Build an HQ
Yep.
that can operate to an extremely high standard,
Yep.
which for us is marketing. Build offices that have really strong leadership that understand my playbook, what I expect out of an office, what I expect out of an agent, what I expect out of a vendor. teach that, help them recruit, market, have a great HQ that knows how to do those things that set them apart, and then find those nuggets. So I'm still prospecting every day. Who are those people that are White Fox? There is a White Fox vendor, there is a White Fox agent, and then there's a White Fox JV partner. I have to find who they are. And the best thing now with scale is that when I meet those people, they just have to speak to the guys that are in White Fox now. 15 offices, 15 very different locations, 15 different ages of people, 15 mix of team members that have their own nuances, but yet it's 15 regions where there's never been a call on capital, where we're a business that hasn't had to go back and put hands in pockets. We've been profitable from day dot. So we've got the case studies now for when people say, oh, could we do it? Well, first of all, let's see if you fit. Speak to X, Y, and Z team members. And then if they think that you're a great fit, then we'll sit down, then we'll do this. So again, it's about getting the process, getting your sweet spot. And when you find that, you have to run. You've got to go for it. Otherwise, you miss the opportunity.
What makes you, or how do you select based on an area who the right person, who the right fit is in that area? They'll then be able to, is it just the demographic and the correct person in that demographic that then fits the White Fox?
Have been approached by so many people in areas that just don't fit. So, we've never rebranded an office either. It's all been greenfields. It's all about being cherry picking the right people, getting the right space, and essentially it has to be a blue chip location. If you can't, you think of Louis Vuitton, right? There might be one or two in a city, but it's got presence, right? So we want market presence, not market share. You can't get market share if you don't have an army of agents. That's impossible. But you can get market presence. Everyone can know who you are, and if someone has a property that needs that particular look and feel, they will come to you. So some of our offices, if a vendor goes to market, we're on the board there. We're in because of the look and feel. So for us, first and foremost, it's location. Blue chip location or destination suburb, whether that be a Palm Beach in New South Wales, a Saint-Tropez in France, or a Portsea in Melbourne. Those destination suburbs whose market lives in the blue chip suburbs where we would have an office, that's the fit. The next thing is the right leader, somebody that is great at their craft, who's also selfless. They've got to be able to teach. They can't just be a bull in a china shop. They need to have the ability to teach. And that's why I really like people coming in that are parents, because innately they're doing it every day. They're already going through that caring and nurturing process with their own kids, right? And the rearing, and now they can apply that over to the team as well. They're in a position where they have to put themselves last, automatically, which means that they're easy to coach.
100%.
And then from there, once you've got the location and you've got the person, it's about getting the right team around them. And the team in the White Fox world, there's 7 tiers to what that person looks like. And we categorize where they fit, and that's how you get the right synergy.
Yeah, I love it. Now, blue chip versus market share, right? So blue chip being presence over market share. The idea is a lower volume of deals, but at a higher ticket allows you
a very high ticket.
Yeah. So the idea is obviously if you can take almost a market share in that blue chip area rather than a market share over, say, a city or an entire location.
Correct.
The idea is a smaller output for a greater.
Well, what then happens in time is once you become known for a particular level, then you can still sell. We sell a lot of properties at 400,000 and 500,000. But I'm also probably one of the only business owners that has 2 subscriptions per office, White Fox and then White Fox Classic, which is a sub-tier brand that still gets all the same marketing, but for a fraction of the cost because it's got certain other elements that you miss out on. They'll get 12 photos as opposed to 40 photos. They'll get a smaller video as opposed to a 3-minute video. They'll just have certain things, but they get the White Fox look and feel. And it also doesn't cross-pollinate. So if somebody has a AAA rated asset, when they look at the website, it's not cluttered with the classic stock. There's a tab for the classic stock, and there's a tab for the luxury stock.
Interesting.
Again, it just works for us.
I like that, man.
Particularly when you've got people that are living in a $10, $15 million home and then they want to liquidate a portfolio. Guess what? We can do it for you.
Do both.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we brought that in 2019. So we might do maybe 800 sales a year, maybe 600-700 sales a year, under $1 million.
Yeah. Okay. And then obviously the others are the big blue chip, big ticket items as well.
Correct.
So you still do 600-800 under
Probably.
a mil. Yeah. Interesting, man.
Yeah, and it's great because when people go, I didn't know that. I go, fantastic, now you do. But that's the thing, like we have the perception of a luxury brand.
Yeah.
And we are, because across the board, you know, you talk about the scale. Last year there was, say, 5-6 offices, now there's 15.
Yeah.
Our average sale price last year across the entire group, including New Zealand, lower price point as well, was just under 1.3 million.
Okay.
Now it's sitting just under 1.8 as an average sale price.
That's massive.
It's crazy.
That's massive. That's crazy, man. So for all of you Australian Property Scout listeners, make sure you check out White Fox for your sales in your capital city, sub $1 million.
Absolutely.
They knock it over as well.
And we do a lot of campaigns where, you know, we will, you know, give them the advice on the marketing, but have a local agent, you know, be the legs for it.
Yep.
Happens a lot as well.
Okay, sweet.
If we can't get there.
Yeah, if you can't facilitate it from that direct, And we were talking about this off air as well. Like your background is actually from a marketing perspective. Like that's what your obviously you had the 2 businesses when you were starting out.
And so what happened was when I first got into real estate, I didn't really enjoy it. So then I got out after about a year.
Okay.
So I was the first guy to invent open for inspection software.
Yeah, right.
So I did that.
Yeah.
Built a flat $6,000. I was 21. Sold it for $1 million.
No way.
To the REIV.
Yeah.
And then worked there for 2 years. And I travelled literally all over Australia. I was doing like guest speaking trainings at Uluru.
Yeah. What?
No shit. Where, you know, like Michael
wild.
Sheargold would get all these. So I got to meet everyone. I got to see every business.
Yep.
I went to, you know, Cunningham's in Sydney, and I went, you know, Kane Burton in Melbourne. I went to agencies in Tassie. I got to see everything from 21, 22, 23. And I was like, okay, they're all the same. The only thing that differentiates them is their hiring policy, how they retain people, who they appeal to in the marketplace, and branding. Like that's it. So at 21, when I did Touchbase, that was the company, I wanted to open White Fox. So I wrote White Fox down at 21, but waited until I was 29 to launch. Then after I launched in 2017, it made a lot of noise, and a lot of entrepreneurs and business people got behind White Fox. And when we sold Leighton Hewitt's property, that was like a big moment. And vendors would say, oh, who's done your design? Who's done this? Who's done that? And I said, well, I've been driving it. It's me and the team. And then we'd pick up a client, and then another, and then another. So then I said to a friend of mine who was working with me in the branding, I said, let's just start White Fox Marketing. And then it just went bang. So for 3 years we ran that, and then I ended up selling it to him to just focus solely on White Fox real estate.
Yep. I love that, man. That's cool. And so you carry that over now to all brandings within it as well. So you keep, do you still keep that internally as well, obviously?
Well,
like I sold
White Fox Marketing, and we've rebuilt White Fox Studios internally, which involves my CMO, my brother.
Perfect, and that obviously runs all the marketing for your programs, your sales campaigns internally.
Yeah, and the great thing is that when we open an office, because everything sits in HQ, that's where the consistency comes from. So you know, you open an office here in the Gold Coast, and you walk in, then you'll see 6-7 people. Yeah, but yet there's another 15 helping them in Melbourne. That's the magic. That there's an energy shift in people. So there's no property management. Property managers and sales, they've got different energies. They've got different drivers.
For sure.
Okay. So when they're in the same working environment, there's a lot of friction. Same as admin. When you see these offices with big admin teams, if you've got 30 people in admin, again, different friction points. They operate differently. For sure. Oh, that person was rude to me. No, they're not. They're in deal mode. When an agent's in deal mode and they've got the blinkers on, they're not being rude, they're being intense. Don't take offense to that. So for us, it's about removing all those possible friction points, right? And every single one of our offices is just dialed in agents.
Interesting.
All the friction points sit with me in HQ.
Okay. So all admin, everything all sits in HQ?
Sits with me. Interact.
Interesting. Yep. Really? That's crazy. Man, that makes a lot of sense, because if you're running it all, not remotely, but let's say the admin runs remotely from the sales offices.
Yeah, not from the Philippines. From Tirac.
Yeah, for sure. But man, that makes a lot of sense, because they run remote and support the offices right around the country.
Correct.
And then you've just got high-performing agents working with high-performing energy.
That's it.
There's no energy vampires or zappers.
Energy.
You know what I mean?
No zappers.
I love that.
And then what happens is
mad.
Then you can have a smaller space.
Yep.
Then for the JV partner, guess what? What are your overheads?
Minimal.
Very minimal.
Yep.
Are you building highly profitable little engines? Yes. Who do they then love? The team.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And the support that comes from Durack.
Absolutely. They can get on the phone. They can speak to Taylor. They can speak to Elsa. They can speak to Rory. They can speak to me. They can speak to Taylor. They can speak to Georgie. The list goes on.
Yeah.
They're mates with these people.
Yeah.
And because there's no friction points when they all get together, it's a great vibe.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, hey? That's cool, man. I like that. I like that a lot because
So the idea is you're operating at a scale of a big franchise group, but you've got the power of a boutique in your relevant market.
Yeah.
So my theory is at White Fox, you act local and think global.
And so your game plan for it is as you keep scaling your offices around the country and internationally as well, HQ stays in Toorak, that just grows to support as the offices grow as well.
Correct.
But you keep building the offices the same way.
Correct.
High performing engines, local.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
And very low risk.
Yeah.
Where's the risk?
How many offices are you planning to expand? Are you done in Australia or you're always hunting?
I want 50 offices by 2030 in 5 countries.
Okay. Which, if you don't mind me asking, which countries you look at? I know you got NZ as well.
Dubai,
Okay.
Europe, and Australia and New Zealand should cover that.
Yeah.
And then after 2030, it's phase 2.
That's awesome. 50 offices by 2030.
2030.
That's cool. How quick did you say you scaled, to the 15 from, I think you said you're 5, was it 5 or 7, I think you said?
What was it? It would have been, in the last 18 months, we would have added 11.
Okay. In the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even that trajectory of 11 per 18 months is you're surpassing the 50 anyway by 2030.
But again, it's like it has to be natural.
Yeah.
Like it's not me sitting, calling. We don't even have a BDM.
Yeah.
We don't have someone that's out there trying to find offices. It just happens through conversation, or I'll put up a post, or I'll say I'm in this city, and then it just naturally happens.
Yeah.
Very organic.
I love that. Well, people will be drawn to it as well, right? They're drawn to the energy and they're drawn to the way that you operate.
And there's a lot of places that we just don't go.
Yeah.
We've had so many approaches in particular pockets, and they're making bank. They're bringing in GCI, and I just can't do it.
Why? What's the red flag?
It's not blue chip location.
Okay.
Makes money.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing this for the money. The money comes. The purpose is be the world's first globally privately owned boutique real estate company, non-franchised. It does not exist.
I love that. That's mad.
Well, it's how you build a very, very powerful company.
And you have the base. Yeah, dude, I love the model. Like what you're talking about there. It makes so much sense.
Doesn't exist. It's founder-led. It's very, very, very intricate. And it's a business that's propelled through media and marketing.
Yep. How do you manage the international expansion versus the national?
Same way you manage growth. You got to crack the code and find your pocket.
Yep.
And once I find that pocket, I'll tell you.
All right, man. Sounds good.
I'm figuring it out now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I figure everything out.
It's a business is just levels, right? This is levels that you unlock and just
it.
take it to the. And I think this is a crazy thing of like when you unlock Europe, it's just like again you've cracked the code in that.
And you've always got people saying, "Oh, why bother? You don't have to do this. Hey, you're not from there." Listen, I'll have passports for every part. I've got the European passport coming in. I've got my British passport now. I've got my Aussie. I've got my Kiwi. I've got my golden visa.
Yeah.
I'm literally what I used to get teased for about being a gypsy has now become my superpower. Being this mixed blood mutt has actually been one of the greatest gifts I could have ever asked for.
What's your background?
Mum's born in Armagh in Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Spanish descent, so she's pretty much as dark as you. She'll give you a nudge.
Yeah, right.
And Dad's Romanian Serbian.
Some proper gypsies.
Oh, mate, I'm telling you now.
The Irish and Romanian.
I might leave you. You won't have a watch on your wrist.
I'll strap it on.
No, but it's very fortunate. They had us at a very young age, my brother and I, and it's a funny life.
That's cool, man.
Very funny.
That's cool.
We shared a bedroom till we were about 18.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
With Mum.
Yeah? Really?
Hectic. Heck, I just wanted my own house, you know, and I think that was a big driver. It's, some of that torment and trauma that you go through as a kid ends up becoming that fire in you, and it becomes that thing that you want to prove to others, then to yourself, and then it becomes bigger than that. You've put that to bed, And then it changes and it shifts, and that drive now comes from wanting to achieve something that is going to leave a legacy for my kids. I want for myself to keep learning and exploring and feel that nervousness and that anxiousness. That's where the growth comes from. You know, if I get comfortable, I'm not happy, to be honest. Like, people say, well, why aren't you content? No. It's not about getting content. It's about moving forward. It's about continuously having fun and researching and digging and scratching and getting under the hood and walking the streets and meeting with the locals and picking people's brains, walking up to random tables at the Oxley like I did yesterday and just sitting with a bunch of randoms and just asking questions. I can lose their mind.
Like, who does this?
I fucking do that. That's why. Act local, think global. I'm a local wherever I go because I put myself in those seats.
Yeah.
And that's where the magic happens.
Full gypsy. I love it.
Full gypsy, baby.
I love it. Man, you touched on your childhood for a bit there as well, like living with your brother and your mum up until 18 in the same room as well. Man, what that's pretty hectic, right? Like, and in Australia as well, that's not normal.
Well, yeah, you bring your mates over and like, oh, let's go play in your room. And then they're like, oh, there's bunks. And who's there? That's Mum and Taylor and I'm up top.
Yeah.
And then they just go, fuck, it's crazy. And it is crazy. And that wasn't for the whole 18 years, but for a lot of years, that's how it was.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is what it is. We were just always very well loved. Yeah. We had good support. Mum and Dad were like, you can do whatever you fucking want. And that stuck with us. Yeah. And we've had that belief, like, you can throw me something and I'll crack the code. I'm really not scared of much.
Yeah. I mean, I can feel that drive, you know what I mean? That real driven energy. Like, you like a challenge. You like things that are going to, you know, push you and take you to the next level.
Well, the thing is I go hard, but then I'm home regularly at 4:30.
Yeah.
I'm walking the kids all the time to the dog park. I'm the busiest I've ever been, but yet I'm home more than I've ever been.
Yeah.
So you've got to be the creator of your own world.
How do you master the balance of that?
You just make decisions. Just say, fuck it, that's what I'm doing. And then if someone tests you on that, you've got to be prepared for the objection handling. So what I learned with vendors, what I learned with buyers, you then have to learn that with your missus, your folks, your kids. Everything's a trade-off. Everything's a mini deal.
Yeah.
Everything. And if you don't treat it like a mini deal, well, then how's anyone ever going to feel like they're winning? My job as an agent was I was always making people feel that they won and they won. I was the master of the communicating. Everyone felt like I was doing them a solid.
Yeah.
And that's how I've gone into every other little piece in scaling. As long as everyone feels like they're a winner, I'm a winner. No one around me is a loser.
It's how deals are done, right? Everyone's got to feel like they're winning.
100%.
If everyone's feeling like they're losing, like everyone's going to walk away regret or they're going to bitch or carry on or whatever.
Well, if everyone's losing, that's fine. That's fine because you can all lose together.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to win and someone's going to lose.
Yeah.
That for me, I don't like that feeling.
Yeah.
I don't have to win at someone's expense. Yeah. But we can all win. There's always a way to win.
Did you learn that through being an agent and having to deal with all the different parties involved in a transaction? Do you reckon that's where you learned that skill? Because that is a skill, man. Like, that's in a serious way.
I learned that through actually falling into real estate with my wife's dad.
Okay.
So he was a really, really smart operator. He owned 52 offices in Melbourne.
Whoa.
He was the founder of Wilson Pride Real Estate, which then got acquired by Century 21.
Okay.
That was their first entry into the Australasian market. And Graham Wilson, I was lucky to be mentored by him for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And he was just a gentleman. He was just an absolute deal mechanic pig. Really, really smart.
So he taught you the art of a deal.
Taught me the art of the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And along with some of the other guys in that, you had Marcus Peters, Tony Pride, Graham Wilson. These are like just kings of the game in the 80s.
Yeah.
And they just knew I had the benefit of learning from that.
Yeah. How much exposure or what is the training you do now, like say with your existing team in teaching them the art of the deal as well? Because it's something that I obviously put a lot of focus into for our guys. We're obviously on the buy side, we're obviously with the buyer's agency, but it's exactly the same. It's effectively the same always when it comes to putting a deal together in terms of all the related parties, right?
Well, it's communication.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. And knowing what information you require as an operator to release at particular times. Your timing of information flow is what makes or breaks a deal. Mm-hmm. All right. So I say to people that are in real estate, like, let's cut the bullshit out. You have to operate like a lawyer. Why is it when a lawyer goes to court, right, they've got closing arguments in days to come, in weeks to come? Mm-hmm. That's because they're getting the jury ready for the close.
Yeah.
As an agent, you need to do the same. You've got a vendor and you've got a buyer, and both are effectively lying to you. That's the truth, is it not?
Yeah, for sure.
Are they?
We're always playing the game, right?
Well, it's about knowing when to let the information come out so that both parties make an informed, calculated, correct decision so that greed doesn't get in the way.
Yeah. Form priming, right?
Well, it's how a lawyer preps a jury.
Yeah, for sure.
As a top-tier agent knows how to prep the deal.
Yeah.
And that's through giving the right feedback, giving the right advice around the marketing, giving the right advice around conditions, because conditions are just as important as price. If I can get the right conditions on an asset, I don't care what I pay. That's the truth. That's how most big developments happen.
For sure.
They have to get the right terms.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, it's about the prepping and getting it ready.
Yeah.
And in the luxury market where there's a lot of moving pieces, that's what has to happen. And that's why only a certain amount of agents will operate at that top tier.
Just touch on that for a little bit deeper. Why are there only select agents that operate at the top tier with that?
Because you can't rush it. And that's why I said the timing is so important.
Yeah.
How you communicate with these people.
Yeah.
They're not first-time investors. They're not first-time flippers. They're not first-time anything. And they're normally at the top of their game in their world.
Yeah.
So they need to feel that you are doing things at a level that shows strategy, that shows finesse, that shows an incredible ability to execute.
Yeah.
So when I talk about the timing of the information, it's the timing of the entire situation.
Yeah.
That's what's key.
Yeah, for sure. It's why as well I think so many of the top tier agents that deal in that style of product, they're not big volume players because they know how to put deals of this sort of magnitude together, right? So it's a lot more beneficial to them to work on a smaller amount of transactions that are at that higher volume. Higher ticket and higher, I guess.
Well, it tests them and they want to be tested.
Yeah.
So as you grow, you
yeah.
want to have these really intricate moments to test your ability.
Yeah.
That's why at the end of the day, throw any of those three guys that I just spoke about, a 2-bedroom apartment in their chosen marketplaces, it's not testing them. So they want to feel the stress of the deal.
Yep.
Stress is good and bad, but they want to be tested.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. Man, you were talking before about, you touched on a couple of times there around developments. I'd love to know in terms of Grayer and the partnership that you guys have struck up, and obviously you guys are doing a lot of stuff together now as well. Are you able to touch on that for one, how that came to be, like how that actually came together, and then potentially what's on the cards as well?
Yeah. I met Rob through having the marketing agency.
Okay.
So that would have been 6-7 years ago. Really connected, got along, massive fan of his brand. He was a fan of what we were doing. And then I just thought that there was a really strong opportunity for White Fox to be in Brisbane. So I flew up with Charlotte and teed up a brekkie, and I pretty much had a rough business plan for what White Fox could look like. And I just said, look, you're building some of the best staff. We're same age, and you're doing all this hard work, putting your neck on the line. And then at the very end, you're handballing it to a franchise group that doesn't have the same aesthetic as you.
Yeah.
And I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
Why don't we look at doing something and you investing in White Fox, and let's make it happen. But we need the right guy. Who's that guy? And he goes, I've got the perfect guy. I said, who's the guy? He goes, Philip Rand. I said, fuck, let's go. So then Charlotte and I took this guy out for dinner, Philip Rand, and he sat down, told me the story about some fucking penguin in Antarctica. It was a strange dinner. It was great. Loved it. But it was fucking
penguin
funny.
In Antarctica.
Trust me, you got to hear the story about this fucking penguin. And about this Chinese guy stealing this penguin, putting it in his backpack, and then they found it in the shower on the cruise. Anyway, crazy.
I've got to hear this story.
It's funny as fuck. And we just hit it off.
Yeah.
And really got along with him.
Yeah.
And then in the same moment of getting Brisbane going, the founder of the block said, I need to sell my house. And I just finished my first season.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I've been watching this guy on the Gold Coast by the name of Nick Whitehead. He's your man.
Yeah.
Why don't I fly up and call the auction, or just be a vendor advocate and I'll use this as a test to see whether or not he's good because I think he's good.
Yeah.
So whilst the conversations are happening with Phil, I then said to Rob, hey, Rob, I'm going to run this campaign, $4 million asset with this guy, Nick Whitehead, and with the synergies of Brisbane and Goldie and with what you're doing in the development space, mate, we could get Brisbane and Goldie going at the same time. Let me just come back to you. So anyway, we ran this campaign. Nick hit it out of the ballpark. We then got together and had dinner. I flew up my wife and it was him and his wife and myself and Charlotte at Rickshaw's. And I gave a similar business plan and said, Rob and I would like to discuss you being our business partner on the Goldie.
Yeah.
And then his wife said, you're not going to believe it, but 4 or 5 years ago, Nick said that if he ever did anything in real estate, it would be with you.
No way.
And now this has just happened. And he goes, mate, I'm dead set. You're the only guy I'd ever do business with.
That's unreal.
Unbelievable.
That's unreal.
And then that's just how it happened. So Rob's got this great ability in the fact that he really can see his stock. He's in the background of the campaigns. He sees how we pull everything together. And as a developer, how cool is that? Like you've got this lens sitting in behind the deal. And the great thing is he's been such a massive endorsement for us. And he's called developers in Melbourne that have come in to pitch. He got on the phone to James Packer's board when we launched our $500 million project in Toorak and gave them confidence that, you know what, I can't fault them. And I had a call 3 weeks ago from one of the board members of his investment fund, and they said we're blown away because our national projects team is nationally looking after these projects.
Yep.
So I've got the team in Brisbane flying down and, we've done a huge amount of deals off market just by using our systems.
Yep.
And, Rob's just been the most beautiful business partner in how he's endorsed the results that we've got for him. Mm-hmm. And he wants other developers that want to work with us to know that we will deliver.
It's interesting, man, hey, the way guys at that level who arguably, like Rob and Gray in general, man, is seen as like the most elite level builders at the moment in Australia. Like that seems to be for the last few years, right?
Hands down.
Yeah. And it's funny, man, how like he's still like wanting to, we're kind of chatting off here about keeping a few things private, keeping things within that we can work on internally in that. But like he's throwing his, his backing behind you so openly as well to, I guess, whether you would call them competitors or not being, if they are interstate. But
Rob doesn't say people's competitors.
No?
Same as me. I don't say people's competitors.
Why is that?
Because we're content and we know that we're good at what we do.
Okay.
And you know what? The pie's big enough. Mm-hmm. There's so much to go around.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I've never feared anyone. He doesn't fear anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, man. I love it.
Fuck. You want to use something? Like, I've never, I just couldn't care less. Good luck. If you get the job, happy days.
Yeah.
But the moment you look at people as competitors, you've already established that there's an element of fear.
Okay. Interesting. It's a funny thing, man, because I was always driven by that competitive nature of wanting just to beat everyone. But
I just want to beat myself.
Yeah. Fair.
Rob wants to beat himself.
Yeah. What I was going to say was I came to a shift when I realized the same thing as what you said at the end there in terms of the pie's big enough. And we actually got to a point where we closed our books for 7 months of a 9-month window. And I realized like, fuck, it's big enough. Like if we don't even need a sign at this point, what's the point of I love having the drive of wanting to beat everyone else. But then at the same time, it's like, it's big enough that again, then exactly as you're sort of saying there, it turns on us beating ourselves and getting better and better and better. And I think when that change came, I don't know if you went through the same thing when you were potentially younger and you were, up against other people and wanting to win against that. But then when you realized you were just dominating all the time, and there's also only so much you can take on any one time, right? Even the same as a selling agent, which you obviously realize when you hit your ceiling and then transition into business owner versus being a direct sales agent. And I think when I probably at a very similar time, if we look at that 2 to 3 year window again, when I realized I had to step back because I was the biggest bottleneck in APS. And when I stepped back, that was when I really did stop caring about everyone else because it allowed me to see everything kind of more from that helicopter view and then how to fix everything as opposed to just being in the trenches. And it feels good because you're busy all the time and you're doing well, but you just completely stem that growth. You know what I mean? And I think the biggest change that came for me was when I did pull myself out of it. And at the same time, the competitiveness, it wasn't that the competitiveness dropped away, but I stopped worrying about what other people were doing. If that makes sense.
Because you focus on your team.
Yeah.
So your team is you.
Yeah.
And that's where it shifts. But, you know, what people don't realise, and I sent this in my daily message yesterday to the team, I lose all the time. But I've lost because of me not being right in the moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, an agent not wanting to come across, or a location not opening, or 2 people resigning last week. Like, now I look at that as a loss. It's just a miss, but it's also just the way that it is. So like, it doesn't change my mood. Whereas a younger version, a more immature version, a less successful version feels it.
Yeah.
So you get to that point where you're like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone says, oh, yeah, I wish I could go back and I do things differently and this. Yeah, but no, because it's actually quite like I used to love, like I look back on my 20s, and for the people that know me when I was in the deal in those years, fuck, I was intense. I'm intense now. Dial it up.
Yeah.
And shit was popping. I'd be yelling and screaming and shit flying everywhere and hussing around in a 911, and you know what? I loved it.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
But could I do that now? Fuck, mate, no way. Because then I'll get home and I'll just be I'll be a head case.
Yeah.
You know, I get home now. It's great with the kids. It's great with Shah. But again, I always go back and think, how good was that window, or how good was this period? So you've got to just enjoy that growth.
And it's levels, right? And you can't go through the levels and level up, and you can't have the perspective you have now without going through that and, you know, probably reaching almost breakneck speed or running at breakneck speed for however many years.
Well, look how much I talk about the bunk beds.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, would I change it? No. Getting dropped off at school on the back of a push bike when the other guy's getting dropped off in a Rangie? No. My kid's getting dropped off in the Ranger with the TVs in the back? Yes. Now, is that gonna do them poorly because they're not going to have the same reasons to succeed as what I have? It means that what I teach them as a parent has to change.
Yeah.
Because what my parents were teaching me was survival and fight and bang and bang and bang and bang. It's power. I don't have to do it with Fred and Olive and Bonnie. I've got to teach them another element, an element that I've got now that my folks didn't. So they're going to have a very different way of going about their lives. And I don't know how to think about how does that work? How does Charlotte and I crack that code to give them the hunger, but it's coming from a different driver. The source is totally different.
For sure.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, I've had this discussion a couple of times because I've always thought about it as well, because I came from lower class too, and then obviously when I have kids at some point, it's going to be a completely different upbringing from what put the fire in my belly.
I came from no money, high class.
Okay.
My folks have fucking good morals and values.
Yeah.
So reframe that because you could have come from no money, but you still were raised with high class.
For sure.
You had manners, you had work ethic.
Yep.
So I'll never say I came from low class. And again, I don't think you should.
Yeah.
You come from, because it's bringing that back.
Yeah, fair.
So for me, it's like the same thing that you're going to have. How do you make sure that they're not little silver spoon fuckwits?
Yeah. Sorry, where I was going at with that question was like, how are you going to ensure that that's not going to, like, what's, I know you said
chores
you
at
guys
home,
are going to be cracking the code.
Doing things, knowing the value of $1. Knowing the story, knowing where their grandparents came from, knowing where their mum and dad have come from. All of that storytelling. Like that, it has to be instilled. And if you don't think kids think, well, the guy that I've just flown up to the Gold Coast 2 nights ago, right, is the guy that I met in grade 5. And I was at that school for a year and a half. So if you don't think kids can make real connections and if kids can remember things and if kids don't hold on to things, it's fucking bullshit. Because I only went to school with Fletch for a year and a half and he's up here for 3 nights having some time out, right? Because of those connections as a 5-year-old. So what you say to these kids early on is that embedded in their brains. Don't take that shit for granted. So if you're yelling at your missus or you're being a dickhead and all that, just remember they're going to remember.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Man, you've spoken about so much in terms of the childhood. Do you reckon there's anything in particular that you've never spoken about that was like a triggering thing that ever like sits in your brain, or is ever something that you ever pull up? You know what I mean? Like a deep memory that comes from that helps, that had that drive for you when you hit your 20s?
Oh, there's just so many.
Yeah?
There's just schooling, 7 different schools, things happening. one of my biggest bullies at the time, this is a fucking funny story. One of my biggest bullies at the time, like calling me a little gay boy and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Which, fuck, at the time I was like, losing my mind. And because I like girls. And I was like, listen, mate, I'm going to fucking get you back one day. And this guy was big.
Yeah.
And like, trust me, I'm fucking going to get you back. And fast forward 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And I met my wife at this pub. Anyway, we're going on a date, we're having a burger, and we're just talking, getting to know each other. And she tells me who her ex-boyfriend was. And it was this guy.
No way.
It was this fucking guy. And he couldn't comprehend it. He's like, hold on, the guy that I was calling little gay boys, fucking take him, love of my life. And now happily married with 3 kids. Unbelievable. Like, just the best karma ever.
How's that?
Oh, mate. So good.
That's unreal.
So you got to be fucking pretty careful with what you say to people.
Yeah,
don't bully people.
Yeah.
I always stand up for the underdog. Yeah. I always back the underdog, and I always fucking beat the bully.
Yeah.
Always.
I love that, man. I love it. How's that for karma?
Mate, beautiful.
Ultimate reversal, huh?
Oh, the best. The switch up.
Surely you guys
Sorry,
still
brother.
laugh about that. I don't apologize. Fuck you, he's a bully.
Fuck it.
I love that, man. I love that. That's cracker. Man, you talk again. Sorry, dude. There's different things you've said here that's like pulling me back to different questions that I've got as well. Like,
I'm pretty sorry because
oh no, it's good. No, I love it, man. I love it. It's running through your 20s, right? And you speak very fondly of your family, obviously Shara in particular. Was there ever a point where it reached a breaking point where like you were running so hard and so fast all the time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
and how you survived it?
How you survive it? Well, particularly like with, early 20s and you're out drinking and this and that and just not buying into temptation. That's the thing that's the thing that keeps everything on track.
Okay.
There's so many booby traps. There's booby traps in your early 20s because you're not a mature brain. There's booby traps when you get into TV. There's booby traps when you get scale. There's booby traps when you get money. And every 7 years, as a human being, you evolve. So fundamentally, you change. So like your first 7 years of your life, it's about surviving. 7 to 14, it's about like testing things and knowing who you are. 14 to 21, it's like safety. And like, there's just all these different things, right? It's like you can research, but humans change every 7 years. So you've got to then fall in love with that person again because you change. Your personality is the same, but how your brain works evolves and your worries change and the things that you drive change. So that's why you see so much divorce because people don't realize that, yeah, you change. And when people are looking and go, oh, you've changed. Yeah, no shit. Because you evolve. So the key thing was for Charlotte and I, when those moments would hit, she would be like, hey, fuck, you need to like speak to someone. You need to go sort your brain out. Of which I've seen multiple people over those years to just get some coaching like, okay, so why am I like this? And that's a psychiatrist or a psychologist, whatever the fuck you call them, or even couples psychology, because I'll do things or take something personally or I'll upset Charlotte. And it's just that you got to get back on the wavelength. Like, why does a car need to go into the garage? Brand new car. As soon as it hits 10,000 Ks, it's got to go back in for shit.
Yeah.
So,
recalibration, right?
Yeah, recalibration. So as I was growing and maturing I met Charlotte at 18, she was 17. So as you grow, that brain needs tuning and maturing. It's not that you're going on some fucking woo-woo. No, you're going to a clinical person that understands, oh yeah, I know why you've done that. So why don't you try to say it like this? Oh, I can say it like that. It's not really how I would say it, but fuck, if that's going to make Charlotte happy, all right, I'll say it like that. So you're just constantly like learning these little tweaks. Like any sports person needs to tweak their movement. This brain needs these slight tweaks. Like when I get an agent and I turn them into a JV partner and they're a director at White Fox, they need tweaks.
Yes.
Constantly. So I had to drop this theory in my head that I'm not going to go see a shrink. Fucking weak. But it was the reverse. It's like, no, I'm going to be strong and I'm going to go find out why I've upset Charlotte or upset someone else to figure out how not to do that. So I had the balls and I was manly enough to go and figure it out and not lose everything that I had.
Mate, it's that's a crazy thing to throw in, right? And the reason why I say crazy, and you probably saw me like a couple of times there, I kind of got a little triggered by a few things you said there. To throw it back to, if you don't mind, bring it back to myself for a second.
Absolutely.
I'm 35 now, right? And you're talking 7-year intervals. At 28, man, I probably went through the biggest transition, biggest change I ever went through in my life. And it's also when I started APS, started that, and I've been running that for 7 years now.
And you're now on the cusp of feeling something that you don't understand because there's a new evolution now for the next 7.
Yeah. I turned 35 at the start of this year. Craziest transitionary 6 months I've ever been through in my life is what happened this year. And it's funny, man, because I've never heard anyone talk about it with that 7-year window. I was literally thinking about it, that 28, the whole run that I had till now at 35, and then how different, like how much I've changed. And again, you talk about like the shrink and the psychologist and all the psychiatrist.
When did I become a CEO? 35.
There you go.
I'm halfway through my run.
Yeah.
My next run starts at 42.
Yeah.
But it's different.
It's interesting.
Comes back a bit.
Yeah.
Goes out a bit.
Yeah.
And it's like those foundations are unbreakable.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
So this 35 to 42 run as a CEO entrepreneur is the most important, and it's the run where you've got to fix your brain more than ever, because what's happening is your world, your business, your reality, your brain can't keep up with it now until you get that understanding because you don't have the basis to figure out what is actually happening.
Yeah.
And what's actually happening is that bull run that you've been on all coming to fruition.
Yeah. Your
brain's got to be geared to deal with it.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's actually crazy to think about the transition.
I'll introduce you to the person.
Please. I literally wrote that. You saw me writing a note. I was going to ask you about it.
Indian lady.
Yeah?
Changed my life.
Really?
Beautiful lady.
It's crazy, man. Honestly, it's crazy. And it literally popped off so many different things in my head there as well. Because it's, as you were talking about it, man, literally thinking exactly the same point in my mind, these different intervals that have come through as well. Exactly as you say, because like that bull run I've been on, now it's like changing to a different kind of like philosophy and way of looking at it as well. Because it's funny because you kind of hit a point and you win and then you're like, what's next? Yeah. And then so it's like you almost hit this midlife crisis even though you fucking achieved everything. You know what I mean? Like you've achieved almost everything. Well, I've achieved more than I ever set out to achieve.
Yes.
And this will sound weird, but I also now feel weirdly almost the most empty I have because I've hit all my goals and I'm like, fuck, what's next?
Correct.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, bro, I think it's to be perfect to dive deeper into it from that side for myself personally. You know, obviously off air.
Yeah, off air. I'll do the introduction.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And what you'll find is once you go through and unpack your life, it'll give you all the answers for what is now coming.
Yeah.
And all you'll do is really minor tweaks.
Yeah.
Really minor tweaks, little baby tweaks.
Yeah.
And it will change everything.
Yeah.
The tweaks that I made 3 years ago is why at the level that I'm at now, I can carry, I can run. I've got capacity. I'm not even scratching the surface.
Mate, I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, you'll love this lady.
Yeah, man, I'm very, very keen. Quick thing as well, you just mentioned the block. How did that all come together?
So it was 2020 and Harry and Tash became contestants in Brighton. And it was the same year that Lana Samuels opened the Brighton office. Okay. So we got called and they said, we want you.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I think all 5 wanted White Fox.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was funny. And we're like, what's the like? How's this happen? Didn't make TV that part, but that actually did happen.
That would have been funny. That would have been funny to make it.
Funny as. And so anyway, it was COVID. The auction was 5 people all standing on their little markers. And I thought, okay, this is going to be my first time on TV.
Yep.
I called Mum and I was like, hey, Mum, what do you reckon I should wear? She goes, what do you mean? It's 35 degrees. Just be you. I was like, really? She goes, yeah, just be you.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, fine. So I rocked up to call the auction in a pair of Gucci slides, shorts, and a really cool green jacket.
I remember seeing this.
And I rocked up and Scotty Cam was like, mate, you got no socks. And all the other auctioneers in their suits were just confused. And I just went out and called a blinder.
Yeah.
And then the next year I got asked to auction. I said no. And then the following year I got asked to auction and I said yes. And what ended up happening in the auction was I got thrown a bid and it was quite intense and it was quite close to the reserve.
Yep.
And I didn't want to put my contestants in a pickle like what had just happened at the previous auction where the guy called it on the market because technically it has to go on the market once it reaches reserve and they made like 20 grand.
Yep.
So I got thrown this bid from Danny and as the auctioneer, I just went back and said, I'm sorry, I'm only taking $150,000 bids now. And he was just like, huh? Like, so I just flipped it on its head.
Yeah.
And he didn't bid.
Yeah.
And then I said, fine, I'm passing it in. And then we went out on the deck and negotiated. And I ended up winning the contestants like 150 odd, 200 grand. And they're like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the producers see that thinking on the fly. They see that the cameras didn't worry me. I was dialed in.
Yep.
Everything was white noise and I was just zoned in on this bidder.
Yep.
And I just pushed back and said, no, I'm only taking $150,000 bids. And you could see the shock. And I knew after that it was a moment where, who knows, something can happen. And that's what people don't do. When they have an opportunity to stand out, they shit themselves. That was the opportunity to perform. It was clutch. And in the moment, I made it happen. Fast forward 2 or 3 months, I'm up at this retreat where I meet this Indian lady.
Yeah.
Because I was in that process of coming out of being an agent and into a CEO, and I was struggling with it. So I had to have some time out. So I went up to Gwingana and my phone went on flight mode for 7 days. And I've got this message on the day that I checked in from the founder of the block saying, I need to see you ASAP. I've ghosted him.
For a week.
So I turned my phone on after getting out of Gwingana.
Yeah.
My first time ever going on like some health retreat, felt super guilty, changed my life. It was amazing. Met Suki. And so I'm in the car heading to the Gold Coast airport and I see this message and I go, holy shit, I've played it so cool without even trying.
Just have completely not given a fuck for a week.
So I've called Jules back and I've gone, sorry, mate, I've been off grid in the middle of Australia. not sorting my head out.
Yeah.
And
that's classic.
he said, I need to see you. I was like, okay, what do you want to talk about? He goes, can I come over? I was like, yeah. He goes, what do you drink? I said, whatever. Doesn't matter. And I'll never forget, Mum was over, Charlotte was there, the kids were running around and doorbell rings. It literally came the next day.
Yeah.
Comes in, he's such a cool dude and he's walking around and we go sit out the back under this beautiful tree in the back garden called the Lucky Bean Tree. It's actually called the Lucky Bean Tree. That's its name.
Yeah, right.
And we're sitting there, he's pouring the vino and he says, look, mate, John McGrath was our first judge on the block and since John left, we've never had a real estate expert. And I'd love for that to be you. I said, really? He goes, yeah. We just every time you've come on the show, you've performed, you've just got it. I said, great. He goes, you don't know anything about it? I said, what am I going to think about? I'm in. He goes, all right, you're starting in 2 weeks. I was like, oh shit! All right, real. Here we go. And yeah, that's how it happened. And I filled in sort of 7 of the 12 episodes for Neil Whitaker. And then the next season, they called and said, we want you full time. And I have now been 3 years. Crazy.
It goes quick, eh?
It goes quick. Like if I'm filming next year, that's 4 years on the block as the real estate judge.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great. I mean, look, what I like about it is that I rock up and I just walk into the room and I just go off cuff. I'm off cuff the entire time.
Yeah.
And I like being off cuff because I know that I know my shit.
And it's your most authentic self as well, right?
I don't need a prep.
Yeah.
I've had 38 years of prep.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, man. I love that.
It's been good.
It's that confidence we talk about, right? It's that confidence we talk about, the builds over that time it's the reps. You've done the reps for so long. It's just you.
Well, it's confidence over cockiness.
Yeah.
Because you'll trip if you're cocky.
Yeah.
If you're confident, you'll learn. If you make a mistake and you're confident, totally cool.
Yeah.
But if you're cocky and you make a mistake, you trip.
Yep. Yeah. I love it. And then they're stuck.
Nah.
Mate, I got a few questions to finish up with you.
Okay.
Mate, this one's a bit deep in and around probably everything you ran through.
You like getting deep?
Man, I do like going deep. I like it. Man, you've got a cool story. There's so much to sort of unpack within it, right? Yeah. And I think like you've gone through so many different levels in your life, even like you've described there with the 7-year intervals of the way things have evolved. you've been in and out of some of those deep moments that you have been fully entrenched. How do you go so deep without fully losing yourself?
So I put it this way. I've never spent a day in bed. Ever.
Yeah.
I will always get up. I'll always go out and I'll always work.
Yeah.
I watched a mum work in a hospital become a nurse in the outback in Aboriginal communities. My dad's been a hairdresser for most of his life, standing on his feet, being an unofficial psychologist to people getting a cut and colour for $450. They're workers. They're hard yakka. They put in – I've never seen them just lay in bed all day. I do not lay in bed. So no matter how – and I'm a realist. Like, what's my dark moment, honestly? What is it?
Yeah.
Losing a deal or this not happening? Like, fuck, come on. So I've got a very good compass on what is actually worth having a fucking worry about and what's not.
Yeah.
So for me, I see any bad moment, I know how to see the positive in it. Yeah. I know how to switch it quick.
Yeah.
So I'm not a Debbie Downer. I'll never spend a day in bed. I'm not going to lick my wounds and be a little bitch. I'll always get up and get out and fucking chase. That's the key. Yeah. You can work yourself out of any pickle as long as you actually get up. If you stay down, then be prepared. Yeah. Yeah, nothing's going to change.
You're going to lose, right?
You're going to lose.
Yeah. What would you say to anyone that like has struggled with that? Well, actually, it fucking sounds like the advice.
Just get out of bed.
Get up. Get out. Get up. Get going.
Put it this way. If you're really upset about something, what is crazy is that if you just get up and go for a walk, if you just walk around the block at a bare minimum, you're one step closer to winning.
Yeah. Changes the mental state, right?
Just go for a walk.
Yeah.
You will come back better.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Mate, my final question for you.
Final question.
Fuck,
it better be good. Don't fuck
this
put
up. The pressure on me. What do you think is the number one character trait of the top 1%?
Self-belief. Nothing else. If you don't believe in yourself, then how is anyone else going to? How is your staff? How is your life partner? How are your kids? How are your customers? You can have everything. If you don't have self-belief, you'll come unstuck.
Yeah.
That's where you fall over.
As long as you back yourself, right?
As long as you back yourself, it's fine.
Yeah. Man, I love that. I love that. That's so different from what a lot of people have said as well.
Is it?
Yeah. A lot of people go down that, and this is like, I personally, I went down grit. So for me, grit, perseverance, always pushing through harder and harder. It's almost always a variant of that. No one said self-belief, and I love that because it's so true.
Well, but if you believe in you,
yes,
this is the dictator to everything. So it all comes back to what you want. What do you want? Like if I asked you now, over the next 24 months, what do you want? What is it?
For me? I've got very specific goals within the residential sector of what we're building at APS. But for me, it's the commercial arm. I got a massive drive at the moment to build out the commercial arm because I know with our mission, so again, if we come back to the actual want, the base end need of what I want right now is to ensure that we have a mission at APS to retire 500 investors by 2030. That is the goal that I have to make sure everything ticks the boxes of to get that. Because for me personally, it was like I said before, I kind of feel—
You've already won.
I've won at everything personally with what I want to do, but for clients, like they haven't. And that's what our mission at APS is to actually get clients retired by that time frame or sooner with that number. And I know the commercial is the piece we have to unlock to get clients on the stage and retired by 2030.
Are you going to make it happen?
Yeah, 100%.
I believe you. You now need to go on that personal side and fix that.
Yeah.
That's the only piece missing. As soon as that's then recalibrated, because the business side is so clear there.
Yeah.
Get that side aligned and try and get that done in the next 30 days.
Yeah, for sure.
Game over.
Yeah. Man, when you were saying it before as well, it literally feels like it's the only piece within me that's missing in terms of being recalibrated at the moment.
Yeah.
So man, I'm excited. I'm keen.
Same.
But yeah, I love it.
Mate, thank you so much for having me.
Man, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much for sharing the wisdom and the journey. Big Marty Fox, thank you so much for joining us on Top 1% Poddy.
Appreciate it.